What up, y'all? It's your boy Ben here, and welcome back to another Pokemon Pocket video. With the mini set approaching, it's time to start thinking about what could come with it. There was this idea that we'll get new gameplay and new strategies, and I just can't think of what that means for this kind of set. We know a full set is like over 200 cards. Maybe we get 70, maybe we get 100. Who knows? But I'm excited to dive into today's video, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Before we get into it, I just want to say only 2% of y'all who are watching are subscribed. We have time to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, click the notification bell button so YouTube can do its thing and blast this video out there. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, y'all, there are 5 things, name them, 5 things that I think could possibly be coming with this mini set. I think overall is going to stay around Kanto, right? It's a mini set. I think the idea of bigger things like Johto and all those other things are not going to be introduced quite just yet. Right here, I think they're going to complement what we already have. And so when you already have all of Gen 1 and that was kind of the focus, how else can you expand on it? Well, I got the thing just for you. First, this idea of new trainer support cards would be wonderful with a Kanto focused, right? And I think these 2 cards here, we have Jessie and James, and we have the Pokemon Center Lady. Now, how do they fit into the Pocket world? I don't know. I would love to see how Pocket can design them. But this idea where Jessie and James says each player discards 2 cards from their hands, your opponent discards first. Who knows? Maybe it's just we just discard 1. Why would you play that? I don't know. Maybe this is a whole new archetype where if we discard something, we can bring it back out from the discard pile. This could be a whole new archetype. That would be interesting. But to have a Jessie and James, a Team Rocket in the game would be pretty dope because these folks are iconic, right? And then you have the Pokemon Center Lady, all right? This is come on. I mean, they could call it Nurse Joy, but maybe there is a Nurse Joy card. If there is, please comment down below. Let me know if there is. But this one says heal 60 damage for one of your Pokemon and it recovers from all special conditions. So this is kind of whoa, you're doing a lot here with this, and maybe it's not 60 damage, maybe it's 30, and then you can recover. This would then make it introducing all of it, but since it's a supporter, it can only be played once. So you can tap it with potion, you can decide to either do potion or do this, but similar to how Erica does it for grass types, you have this kind of effect here, but you can only do it once per turn. I think it's pretty reasonable. I think this is really pretty reasonable, especially as we get more Pokemon in the game with more health or more things, whatever the case may be. This could be really good to have that. And so while I think that adding more supporters are awesome, another thing that I would love to see inside of Pokemon Pocket is just new trainer cards or new item cards added in as well. And then when going through just kind of what the TCG has, and y'all comment down below if this would be a little too much to have into the game. But I think cards like Full Heal and Energy Switch would be pretty sweet, right? There are a lot of times where you are paralyzed. There are a lot of times where you are sleeping. There are a lot of times where you are poisoned and you're just the only way to deal with it is to evolve or to retreat, and the retreat cost is tough. And this would do that. Remove all special conditions from your active Pokemon. I don't know if it should interact with let's say Arbok, because that's a corner, you can't retreat, and I think the special conditions should be just those status conditions, and that's kind of how I would frame this, because then Arbok definitely loses its power that it typically has. But I also don't know if you would run Full Heal in every single deck, right? But you have that, and I think that's really cool to have another way to deal with those conditions, because those conditions are pretty strong if they can land, right? But poison is always automatic, and so you gotta deal with it. I like that. And this other piece, Energy Switch. So you're not generating a new energy type, but you're moving it around. So move a basic energy from one Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. I think this could do really well for things like Dragonite. Maybe this is too powerful in Dragonite, because then essentially your Dragonite is going to always be online. But you can only move 1. Maybe this turns from an item card to a support card, so that way you can only do it once per turn, and that way it's not fully busted by playing both of them out and you get 2 energies. But the cool thing about Pocket is you only allowed 2 cards, so is it really all that broken if we have that? I don't know, but I would love to see how these new item cards, these 2 specifically, could be added into the game. All right, so with the trainer cards out of the way, right? Because we can't have everything in this mini set. So like, let's move on to like, what else could possibly come into this set? Well, I think adding more dark EX types will be amazing. And not even just more dark EX types. Can we get one? Like, we don't have any at all. And what a perfect way of giving it to Arbok, right? Wheezing is a powerful mon already, and like, I don't know if it needs another EX because that would be very scary as to what they can come up with. But Arbok is awesome and definitely will uplift that dark typing. And I think this card is really cool. It says it still has like the corner ability. Maybe you swap it out because like the normal one has that and you want to switch it. But we have things like Executor and Executor EX where their abilities are the same. It's just one does more damage and has higher health. So like, why not? And on top of it, this Menacing Fangs attack that discards 2 cards from their hand. Maybe you don't discard 2, maybe you discard 1, and now you have an archetype with Persian, and then you now make that card also good. So I definitely think dark EX cards are a must, just so that way that typing can just have some love. And if we really wanted to add some flair to it, let's get Gengar up in here. I mean, like, this card exists, so why can't it exist in Pocket? We've seen cross evolutions of typings before with Eevee, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon, and you now can have this like psychic dark mixing pairings without a problem, right? And this card seems pretty insane. This annoying curse whenever your opponent attaches an energy card from their hand to one of their Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. This could easily read when you attach an energy, you lose 10 HP. Huh? And then this tricky steps, you may move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their bench Pokemon. That's annoying, but they wouldn't go with the ability because the opponent has to do that, and this is you doing that. But this slows down the tempo, and like that could be pretty good, especially for some of those high-powered mons that like discard their energies in order to use it, and then you're able to like move this up and then like attack with it and then move it down and slow it even more. Pretty good, pretty good. I could definitely see just more dark EXs making it into the game. As we get into our final 2, for this next one, it might cause a little controversy. Please let me know in the comments if you actually think this card needs support. But I think we need to give some love to our boy Snorlax, and either a different version of the card or an EX version or support. And so like, let's talk about this as like a normal card, because maybe an EX version of Snorlax is kind of bust. So I like this a lot. This definitely plays into the stall factor, and this ability block. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon can't retreat. That's great. Like, this definitely plays out. It makes the retreat cost of 4, the attack of 4, the HP that's high, like all reasonable, because you're doing something that the opponent now has to play around. Right now, Snorlax is just a wall, but like a wall against your own self, because the opponent is using Snorlax to build up their own side before they start attacking. And then they can swap out and do all the things that they want to do. Well, at least this way, they have to deal with Snorlax first, and therefore he actually has the use of being a wall. And in comes this like support for it. And like, maybe we don't use switch cart, but like this one says switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon if you do heal 30 damage from the Pokemon you move to your bench. This might make Snorlax too powerful because of like the 4 retreat cost literally gets minimized because you have this card. Maybe you turn this into like a supporter so you can only use it once per turn. I don't know, you can only retreat once per turn too, so maybe that's not the case. But this card is here, it exists in the TCG, and maybe Pocket can find a way to make it work. But like, Snorlax with a free retreat cost at any point, it sounds pretty good. I don't know, sounds pretty good. And another thing that would make this set pop off, if like they could add just like even like a couple of them and like tease them a little bit, and then we get more when the bigger set comes out, would be the Gym Leader's Pokemon. That's right, this is a throwback to like things like Erika's Venusaur or Giovanni's Nidoking or Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. Being able to have specific cards for that can then enable new trainer cards of those, so that way they can like say like, here's a card that like you can play this if it has Lieutenant Surge in the name, or play this if it has Erika in the name, and then you have this whole other archetype that is supporting these cards and the new trainers, so we get like more niche effects that are pretty cool. Like, I really like how Lieutenant Surge works, I like how Brock works, I like how Blaine works. Misty makes the water typing really hard to design around because of like how that card is as a whole. And so like being able to add in just like specific mons that have like their gym leaders in it. You can add more new art styles. You can add like the little hollows flares that were in the background back in the day with all these cards, and it would just make for sweet art in the game to make it really pop, really play out to like what Kanto was for a lot of people when the TCG was coming out, because getting one of these was super sweet. And then it just adds a nice touch, because then you can just do that for a lot of the stage 2s or like the final evolutions of the mons, and like have that go and continue to build out if like you don't release everything with this one. So yeah, y'all, I said I was gonna do 5, but like I gotta add one more. Don't leave out our boy Mew EX. Mewtwo EX has one, right? Like Mew's immersive art is cool, it's nice, you know, you get to look at the opponent's card, but like it's not really playable. Adding in a Mew EX into the game would make things go so much better. This ability of drawing until you have 3 could be cool. You know, opponents try to red card you, or sometimes don't even red card you, and you draw down, then you can draw up. Draw power is huge in this game, but having it worth 2 points is huge. And like that makes it worth it, right? Like that puts out the risk, similar to how we have a risk with Moltres in being a ramp card, because that's worth 2 points, even though you can get up to 3 energies for it. So attaching draw power to a Pokemon that's worth 2 points in a game that's only up to 3 seems pretty balanced. I really like this. Let's get this into the set. Let's make Mew its own pack and be able to draw for it. Let this be the chase card, and then we can then wrap up Kanto, maybe, because who doesn't love a little Kanto, and go into Johto, hopefully with the second set that's gonna come out. All right, y'all, so those are my wishes for this mini set that's gonna come out. Remembering just like it is less cards than what we originally have right now, so like keeping it Kanto focused will allow us to have, you know, even though the card pool might not be a lot, but there's still a lot more that they can dive into that we may not even realize, or I might not even realize. Who knows what they're thinking right now. But let me know, what else do you think that we could have in the game? What else would you like to see that they do in the game? Comment down below. If we get enough comments, we could probably make a part 2 of this, or even just kind of like confirm to see if you were right or if I were right when this does come out later this month. All right, y'all, until next one, peace.